Good morning. I hereby call this meeting to order, and everybody's about got their seats. And we don't have any. Oh, was someone announced for me to get started? I'm sorry. All right. I hereby call this meeting to order. It's 11 o'clock. I didn't mean to be rushing, folks. We don't have any special guests today, and the Commissioner Secretary will please call the roll.
Over here. Grimsley here. Freimiller here.
McCowan here.
Mr. Dyson, Mr. Alexander, Mr. LaForge.
LaForge here.
Mr. Peterson.
Here.
At this time, our Secretary will give his report. Tim, did you want to go at this time?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, one of the things that is always at the front of the department's mind in our operations and out on the highways every day is safety. So at this time, we've got our annual safety awards, and Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to recognize Sarah Penn for an introduction.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'd like to introduce Keith Sorsdahl, who is the new cabinet-wide safety manager. He started his position at the end of May in 2022. And Keith brings with him more than 30 years of experience, having served 26 years as a naval rescue swimmer and Air Force officer, serving 4 tours in support of operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. Additionally, Keith has served 11 years, holding various leadership positions in public agencies, most recently as the Director of Safety and Risk Management for the Vallejo, hope I say that right, Vallejo Flood and Wastewater District in Vallejo, California, prior to relocating to Oklahoma. Keith holds his certification in human behavior analysis and a master's degree in aeronautical science from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Keith and his wife, Tina, along with their 2 sons, now live in Choctaw. Keith Sorsdahl.
Welcome.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, Secretary Gatz, Department leadership, transportation professionals, and our customer owners that are with us today. As you heard, my name is Keith Sorsdahl. I'm the new safety manager, and when I say new, I am 4 hours into my 10th day. And it's been a great 10 days, and I'd like to publicly recognize real quick the central office safety staff for their outstanding support in leading the safety program, along with their help in getting me up to speed. And they are Mr. Greg Lott, Mr. Tanner Michaels, and Miss Nancy Graham. And what a privilege it is for me today to be able to be here as the new guy, to be allowed to participate in this year's annual event, where the department is intentional in recognizing each district's leadership and dedication to the safety of the men and women in their care and custody, along with the dedication of their safety of our customer owners who travel on ODOT roads day in and day out. I'd like to quickly share 2 things with everyone, and that I believe will help set the tone for this topic of safety. First, what I've come to learn in my career is that every organization has a common thread woven through it, and that is recognizable and demonstrated within its culture. And I can say what I've discovered in my short time in the department is that the Department of Transportation's common thread that is woven through every fabric of this organization is safety. Safety of their people and safety of the public. And here's why I say this. Because that thread first starts and is found in our mission statement. It reads, the mission of the Oklahoma Department of Transportation is to provide a safe, economical, and effective transportation network for the people, commerce, and communities of Oklahoma. And the point there is not that safety is mentioned, but when it is mentioned. It's not second, it's not third, it's first. Then that thread continues and is found in the annual report. The Secretary writes in his message that ODOT remains committed to providing the safest, most effective, and best transportation system possible. And then from our annual report, that thread continues and is found in our current fiscal and organizational strategy. And in there it says, due to the very nature of the department's mission, resources are first dedicated to the daily duty of maintaining the transportation system in a manner that enhances safety of the traveling public. That common thread, again, is found in our highways and bridges update. The safety of our transportation system and the traveling public is paramount to the mission first. And finally, as I continue to follow that thread, it led me to our modernization initiative. Our transportation modernization vision is an efficient, innovative, and customer-driven organization working collaboratively to provide safe, modernized, integrated, and sustainable transportation. And as I looked at all those areas that this common thread led me through, I found that it was in our thinking and in our strategy and in our spending and in our design and in our execution of the mission and in our future. So safety, the common thread woven into everything we do here at ODOT. And then secondly, as I was completing my onboarding, I was reminded about my responsibility as a commuter and end user of the Oklahoma highways. And on the department webpage, there's a welcome video from Secretary Getz, where he thanks Oklahomans and reminds all of us that safety in the work zone is everyone's responsibility. And he encourages each one of us to do our part. And to that point, I believe most of us here today drove on ODOT infrastructure and able to attend this meeting. I know I did. And some of us may have drove by our maintenance crews and through our work zones. And I want us to understand a very important thing about our responsibility as we drive near our maintenance crews or through our work zones is that stewardship of our actions behind the wheel as we drive directly contribute to the success of keeping our people safe. So with that in mind, as we recognize the leadership and achievements in each district, I want us to remember that we're also recognizing contributions to the success of the department's safety program, as well as through our safe driving habits. So now let us honor our 2021 Safety Award winners, our districts, who have demonstrated they are the master weavers of ODOT's common thread of safety. I'd like to go ahead and move the podium. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation Safety Awards are comprised of 3 categories: the District's Excellence Safety Districts, the Director's Safety Excellence Awards, the Progressive Excellence Award, and the Governor's Safety Excellence Award. Now for our district representatives that are present, this is your day. We honor you. I ask that when your district is called, please come forward and accept your award. Commissioners, I ask that when your district is called, that you please join them here up front in accepting their award. I now invite Secretary Gatz to please come forward and prepare to present the awards. For our first category, the Director's Safety Excellence Award, this award is awarded to the unit within each district that demonstrated outstanding performance in the support of the department's safety program. And the first award in this category goes to District 1's Chickasaw Interstate Maintenance Unit. Accepting on behalf of District 1 is Mr. Sam Duval, Transportation Superintendent. Our next award goes to District 2's Atoka County Maintenance Crew.
We're just accepting the award of it.
Our next award goes to District 3's Wewoka Residency. Our next award goes to District 4's Yukon Residency. Our next award goes to District 5's District-Wide Traffic Crew. Our next award goes to District 6's Cimarron County Maintenance Crew. Our next award goes to District 7's Grady County Maintenance Crew. Our next award goes to District 8's Ottawa County Maintenance Crew.
What is a Navy rescue swimmer?
Are the guys that jump out of the helicopters into the ocean.
And our final award in this category goes to Central Office Multimodal Division. This next category of award is the Progressive Excellence Award. This single award is presented to the district that has shown the most improvement in their safety program over the last year. The recipient of this year's Progressive Excellence Award is District 7. The final category of awards is the Governor's Safety Excellence Award. This prestigious award is presented to the district that has the overall best safety record of the year, demonstrating superior performance in leading their safety program. The recipient of this year's Governor's Safety Excellence Award is District 8. All right. This concludes a presentation of our annual safety awards. I would like to again thank the chairman, commissioners, and secretary for taking the time to recognize our districts for their outstanding support of our department safety program. And congratulations again to all our this year's award winners. Thanks, Russell.
Introduction of new Environmental Program Division Manager, Mr. Johnson. You're recognized.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Pleased to announce today our newest division manager for our Environmental Programs Division, Mr. Joe Bruchet. Joe began his career in ODOT in 2004, serving in various capacities across the agency with notable extents in our pre-construction areas as well as our project management division. So once again, please help me recognize Joe into his new role.
Item number 69 is the approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on May the 2nd. Madam Chairman,
I'll move that they be approved.
Second, LaForge.
any discussion? I was absent, so I will abstain. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowan. Abstain.
Yeah, he's abstaining.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Passed by unanimous vote. Next item is the consent docket. which contains items number 70, 71, 72, and 73. These items were all discussed in detail in the subcommittee meetings. If any commissioners would like to pull an individual item from this discussion, may do so now.
Mr. Chairman, on number 72A, I believe there's a scrivener's error. It should be State Highway 29 rather than State Highway 22. This was covered in the committee meeting this morning.
That you want to change the,
Yes, it should be on 72A, where it says one location on number 1 along State Highway 22. That should be State Highway 29.
okay?
I believe that's correct.
You'll make that adjustment. Any other comments? Do I have a motion for approval of the consent docket?
So moved, Grimsley.
Second, Peterson?
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Freimiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCowen, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Passed by unanimous. Let's move to item number 74. Engineering contracts. Mr. Tigler, you're recognized.
Thank you, and good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Item 74, my engineering contracts this month have 10 parts, and I want to just preface the item by all of these projects are in the current 8-year program, so I don't have to repeat that each time. Just want to make sure you're all aware of that. Part A is in Muskogee County, District 1, construction plans for US 62. We have selected C.H. Guernsey and Company for $1,538,425. Part B is McLean County in District 3. Construction plans for I-35, we have selected Olson for $2,622,700. Part C in Beckham County in District 5, this is construction plans for US 283. We have selected Grossman and Keith Engineering Company. The cost not to exceed amount is $375,274. Part D in Greer County in District 5, construction plans for US 283 as well. This is with Tetra Tech for a not to exceed amount of $862,400. Part E in Harmon County in District 5, construction plans for US 62. We have selected Freeze and Nichols. Amount not to exceed amount is the $1,198,110. Part F in Love County in District 7, construction plans for I-35. We've selected EST. Amount not to exceed is $1,618,465. Part G in Nowata County in District 8, construction plans for US 169. We have selected C.H. Guernsey and Company. Amount not to exceed $976,547. Part H in Ottawa County, District 8, construction plans for US 60. We've selected MKEC Engineering. Amount not to exceed is $443,020. Part I in Rogers County in District 8, construction plans for US 412. We have selected Craig and Keith Line. Amount not to exceed is $664,725. And finally, Part J in Tulsa County in District 8, construction plans for US 169. Selected Tetra Tech. Amount not to exceed is $745,770. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you gentlemen have any.
Just curious. One of my dumb questions, but these large contracts, the several million for a project that's going to be let in '28, say, do they start work like as soon as this is granted
soon
and
as they-
continue for?
It probably will vary. Each contract has their milestones in the contract, and it typically will take probably up to 2-3 years possibly, just
Okay.
depending on what information we have to collect.
So even something to be let in '29, they'll start work today?
Absolutely, as soon as the contract's signed, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved, Grimsley.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Item passed by a unanimous vote. Item number 75 is engineering contract supplements. Mr. Teague, you're recognized to continue.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Item 75 are my contract supplements. I have 6 parts this month. Part A is Okfuskee County in District 3. This is for additional engineering for final construction plans for State Highway 84. This is with Tetra Tech for $19,700. Part B is Oklahoma County in District 4. Final plans for I-40. These are 2 locations, Scott Street and the eastbound. These are bridges at Scott Street and Sunny Lane. The selection was with Garver. The amount is $1,681,700. Part C in Oklahoma County in District 4. These are final plans for I-35. We have selected Poe and Associates, $612,310. Part D in Payne County in District 4 as well. These are for final plans on State Highway 51. This is with EST for $13,500. Part E in Washita County in District 5. Final plans for State Highway 152 with Dewberry Engineers for $27,075. And finally, Part F, Tulsa County in District 8. These are final construction plans for State Highway 97 with Craig and Keith Line for $53,875. Approval is recommended. Any questions? I'll try to answer.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
I make motion for approval.
A second?
Second, Coburn.
Any discussions? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Items number 76 is change orders with cumulative totals of 75,000 or less. Mr. Leonard, you can present that.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item number 76, parts A through double V. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $75,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only, but I'd be glad to answer any questions.
These items were discussed in detail in our subcommittee meeting. If there's no question, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to present item number 77.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, item number 77, parts A through double I. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $75,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 77?
So moved,
LaForge,
Grimsley.
move for approval.
Do I have a second?
Second, Coburn.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Coburn, Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 78 is proposed bid openings. Was scheduled for Mr. Hackney, and Shelley Helms is going to make the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Agenda item 78 is for the proposed bid openings for the final August 2022, tentative September 2022, and the tentative October 2022 in the amounts of $185 million, $209 million, $82 million, respectively. The department requests and recommends approval of this item.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval for item number 78?
So moved, Peterson?
Do I have a second?
Second, Coburn.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCowan, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Item passed by unanimous vote. Item number 79 is additions to the Lake Access Road Program. Mr. Sutter, you're recognized to present. Mine says Mr. Sutter. You wouldn't be Mr. Sutter, are you?
No, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Jordan Wheeler, and I'll be filling in for Mr. Surratt. Item number 79 is 5 additions to the Lake Access Program. Project 1 is in District 1, Cherokee County. The Cherokee County Commissioners are requesting approval for a lake access project for Lake Tenkiller. Lake Tenkiller covers over 12,000 acres and has 130 miles of shoreline, offering boating, camping, fishing, scuba diving, and swimming. The proposed project begins at the intersection of State Highway 82 and East Carter's Landing Road and extends northeast for approximately 1.8 miles to the entrance of Carter's Landing Public Use Area. The county will be responsible for initiation, construction, and completion of all work associated with the project. The department's participation in the project shall not exceed $200,000. Project 2 in District 2, McCurtain County. The McCurtain County Commissioners are requesting approval for a lake access project for Pine Creek Lake. Pine Creek Lake covers over 3,000 acres of land with approximately 74 miles of shoreline, containing facilities such as boat ramps, RV hookups, and swimming areas. The proposed project begins at the intersection of Old Highway 98 and Pine Creek Road and extends north for approximately 5 miles to the entrance of Pine Creek Lake. The county will be responsible for initiation, construction, and completion of all work associated with the project. The department's participation in the project shall not exceed $750,000. Project 3, also in District 2, Pushmataha County. The Pushmataha County Commissioners are requesting approval for a lake access project for Sardis Lake. The lake covers 14,360 acres with 117 miles of shoreline, containing 3 campgrounds offering facilities including RV hookups, showering facilities, swim beach, and fishing docks. This project begins at State Highway 43 and North 4260 Road / Sardis Cemetery Road, and extends north for approximately 1.8 miles, then extends east on Southwest Sardis Cemetery Road for approximately 2.75 miles to the Latimer County line. The county will be responsible for the initiation, construction, and completion of all work associated with the project. The department's participation shall not exceed $725,000. Project 4, District 7, Jefferson County. The Jefferson County Commissioners are requesting approval for a lake access project for Warika Lake. Warika Lake amenities include boating, camping, and fishing. This project begins at the intersection of North 27040 Road and East 1920 Road, approximately 0.3 miles from State Highway 5, and extends north approximately 2 miles to East 1900 Road. The county will be responsible for initiation, construction, and completion of all work associated with the project. The department's participation in the project shall not exceed $381,000. And finally, Project 5, District 8, Delaware County. The Delaware County Commissioners are requesting approval for a lake access project for Neosho River, which feeds into Grand Lake. The Neosho River flows for approximately 463 miles, incorporates canoeing, fishing, and other recreational activities. This project begins at the intersection of East 250 Road and South 580 Road, just west of State Highway 59 near Copeland, then extends south approximately 1 mile to the water. The county will be responsible for initiation, construction, and completion of all work associated with the project. The department's participation in the project shall not exceed $145,000. Approval is recommended. I'll answer any questions.
What exactly is a lake access project?
It is a project in which we are improving the access from the highway to the lake.
Okay, so we're putting in pavement,
Correct, surfacing.
surfacing? Any particular width?
Just whatever is recommended by, or whatever is requested by the
Yeah,
county.
Okay, all right. It's built to our standards? County road standards, okay, very good, thank you.
Is there 2 pots of money, one for industrial access and one for lake access, or is that all one pot of money?
2 separate.
2 pots, okay, thank you.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item number 79?
Peterson, I'll move, or,
Do I have a second?
Grimsley seconds, I
I'll,
guess.
okay.
All right. Any discussion?
Coburn, yes.
Secretary,
Mr. Grimsley,
d-
Mr.
uh,
Freimiller,
Freimiller, yes.
yeah.
Mr. McCowen,
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Just to confirm, you have a yes vote for me, right?
Motion passed by
Yes, yeah.
unanimous vote. This time we'll have a presentation by the Director of Finance Administration. Item number 80 is the settlements for damage to state property. Mrs. Helms.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Agenda item 80 is for the settlement for damages to state property, and this has two parts. And in both instances, total damages exceed the policy limits, and the department is being offered a pro rata distribution of the proceeds. And it's not cost-effective to pursue the remaining balance. The department requests and recommends acceptance of the settlement offers.
You've heard the presentation.
It's a really bunch of money to our budget here.
Yeah. She's gonna cause us to run short,
I'll
I
recommend
think.
approval, or make the motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Freimiller, second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, call the roll, please.
Mr.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Freimiller,
Freimiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen,
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
This vote passed by unanimous. Item number 81 is the fiscal year 2023 budget work program. Ms. Helms, you may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Agenda item 81 is for the fiscal year 2023 budget work program, and it has 6 parts. The department is required to submit a budget work program to the Office of Management Enterprise Services in June of each year, which will provide the budget authority for the upcoming fiscal year. And in keeping with that process, the department is submitting for commission approval the fiscal year 2022 budget work program. This budget includes changes in the following items. The State Transportation Fund is receiving increases due to General Appropriations Bill, Senate Bill 1040, with an increase of $6.9 million, which brings the total base of that program to, of that fund to $193,878,499. This is an increase of $6,984,836. And then item E is the next item is General Appropriations, Senate Bill 1040 provides for a one-time $22 million appropriation for the highway program, with a transfer of $5 million to the transit program, which is necessary for matching the federal increase in federal funds. Next item, the Roads Fund, the Rebuilding Oklahoma Access for Driver Safety Fund, receive an increase of $15 million in accordance with House Bill 2895 passed in 2021, raising its balance to $590 million, and also receiving its full spending authority with General Appropriations Bill, Senate Bill 1040. The next item, House Bill 2896 authorized the department to execute a loan or bond authority with a limit of $200 million. The department is authorizing to work with the Oklahoma Capital Improvement Authority to issue bonds or acquire a federal loan from the Build America Bureau using the remaining authorization from 2021 House Bill 2896. The balance of the highway portion of the total budget is the funding from the Federal Highway Administration Transportation Bill, which was included in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which will provide around $290 million worth of increases. The county program will receive an additional $3.75 million into the County Improvement for Roads and Bridges Fund, going from $90 million to $93.7 million from motor vehicle collections as per House Bill 4459. Also included in the budget is funding for transit and rail. It is anticipated that the budget revisions will be necessary during the year, and those revisions will be submitted to the Commission for review and approval at the appropriate time. The Department requests and recommends approval of this budget totaling $2,271,034,786.
You did present that budget this morning at each one of the committee meetings.
Yes, sir. With
Thank you very much.
detail.
You've heard her presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'd like to make a comment if I could. I think, past couple of years, our legislature has shown some real leadership and helping with the budget has improved considerably. And so I just want to thank our legislators. They put a lot of time into this and it's very much appreciated.
This is the largest budget in the history of Oklahoma this year, isn't it?
Well, it's been, we're very happy with the changes that have occurred. But as far as, I think you're referring to the federal increases, yes, that is the most significant increase in federal revenues in a significant amount of time. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Do
Make
I
a
hear
motion to
for
approve?
approval? Second.
Second.
All in favor? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn. Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen.
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you. Passed by unanimous. At this time, item number 82, Mr. Delts will make a presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. Item 82 are our recommendations from the May 19th bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from that bid opening, referred to by call order, be awarded. It's call orders 430, 435, 445, 455, 480, 485, 490, 495, 500, 505, 510, 520, 525, 530, 532, 535, 540, 545, 549, 550, and 555. This includes our recommendations for awards, and your approval is requested.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for the approval of item number 82?
Move that be approved. LaForge.
Do I have a second?
Second, Coburn.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen.
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you. You passed by unanimous vote. Item number 83 is the director's report. Secretary Gaddis, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Commissioner Peterson, great question about the engineering contracts and the timing of the development of a project. One of the things to keep in mind is that our goal always is to have a project ready to go to contract 2 years in advance of when it's scheduled in the work plan. That's extremely important for us to be able to take advantage of maybe revenue increases, maybe discretionary dollars that we might want to apply for grants for. So that's always a goal. That's not always achieved, but that's one of the reasons that we start engineering as early as we do in the process, is to try to get those projects ready and have a project waiting on resources rather than chasing the other way. So, great question. Also, the settlement for damages. One of the things based on a recommendation from Ms. Helmus was that we pursue a legislative authorization to raise the limit for presenting those damages to the commission to $5,000. The legislature did approve that this year, so we will have that capability in the future, which again is a little bit of government efficiency maybe in not having to bring those items for, in the broad scheme of things, minor amounts of dollars forward for commission approval. So again, credit to Shelley for acknowledging that probably was burning some time that would have been better used. So. One of the things that you considered this morning, and I appreciate it very much, was a speed limit change on State Highway 99 and State Highway 22 there in Tishomingo. As you gentlemen know, we had a horrific accident there at that location in the not too distant past. And as a result of that accident, the department's been working diligently with the community. Ron Brown and his team have made some interim improvements, some countermeasures there at the intersection location, and the safety and safety-centric consideration of the speed limit was also something that was on our near-term radar. That speed limit reduction was approved this morning, and again, all of that is part of really putting a focus on that intersection. We certainly will consider additional improvements at that location in the context of the 8-year construction work plan, and I know Ron and his team are really working hard at that location. So I wanted to acknowledge that and appreciate you for considering and approving that speed limit reduction. In the context of the budget, one of the things that we've recently accomplished as part of our Rural Two-Lane Advancement and Management Plan, otherwise known as RAMP, we did close our TIFIA loan that helps us accelerate some of those improvements to the tune of about $41 million, just over $41 million. And the interest rate of that loan was 1.57%. So something that is really a new and important tool in our transportation toolbox to try to help us accelerate work out there on our rural two-lane highways where we know we've got safety and accident issues. So again, thank you for allowing us to pursue that federal loan, and you're seeing results. We've got an authorization additionally where we, in state fiscal year 23, we'll pursue another TIFIA loan for a like amount and use that to continue to accelerate work on our rural two lanes. Commissioner Grimsley certainly made a great recognition of the legislature's efforts to support transportation infrastructure and really do that with committing additional resources. The department certainly recognizes that and is grateful for the support of both the legislature and the governor. But I also want to acknowledge specifically the folks that we communicate with directly on a regular basis, and that is the chairman of the General Government Transportation Appropriations, chairwoman. On the House side, Representative Nicole Miller, and her efforts and representation of the department and of infrastructure investment. And also on the Senate side, Senator John Haste. And they really are the ones that we communicate with directly when we talk about infrastructure needs. They obviously carry that back to the appropriations chairs and then ultimately to the full consideration of the legislature. But we are so grateful for the fact that they continue to support investment in infrastructure, and it's the department's responsibility under the leadership of the Transportation Commission to show results. And that's what we'll remain focused on. We've talked a lot about safety today, and safety with the commitment of additional resources is always in the front of our minds. So again, wanted to certainly acknowledge the additional support and appreciate the legislature for their efforts. When we get to Memorial Day, one of the things that always is in the front of my mind is the Weber's Falls incident where the Interstate 40 bridge over the Arkansas River was knocked down by an errant barge some 20 years ago, 20-year anniversary. And always at this time, we want to appreciate the tragic loss of life and really recognize the impact that that had on those travelers and families. Certainly our heart still goes out to them 20 years later, but also to the first responders that responded to that incident, to the department workers who worked diligently, and our construction contractor and consulting engineer partners that helped us get that bridge back in the air in a very short period of time. One of the things that sometimes goes unnoticed is not just the work that we had to do on the Arkansas River Bridge itself, but the detour routes, where we had to detour interstate traffic onto a state highway system that was woefully prepared to support that level of truck traffic and the level of, and just the volume of traffic. Part of that was due to structurally deficient bridges. Many were load posted, and it took a monumental effort to keep those detour routes working during the time that it took us to quickly put the Arkansas River Bridge on I-40 back up. if there was a galvanizing moment in the context of the department's investment strategy, I can tell you that was it, because it forced us to really take a hard look at our bridge infrastructure and recognize the condition that we were faced with. It resulted in the first 8-year construction work plan that we implemented in 2003. That was crafted based on what we knew was out there. And you've heard me many times talk about how we were keeping our bridge infrastructure together at that particular moment with Band-Aids and bell and wire. We've come a long way since then, all the way to less than 1% of our bridges on the highway system in the state of Oklahoma now are structurally deficient. That's something that every Oklahoman should be proud of. We've come a long ways. It's taken tremendous effort. The 8-year construction work plan has been a big part of what we've been able to accomplish, and again, this time of year, and especially with the 20-year anniversary, just to kind of look back and, number one, remember the tragic loss of life that occurred there at that location, and then appreciate everybody's response, including the creation of a new focus on structurally deficient bridge infrastructure that's brought us into a top 10 national ranking. June is, on the safety front, Secure Your Load Day and Week. Happens in the month of June at the national level. The Department and Turnpike Authority join Keep Oklahoma Beautiful, the Highway Safety Office, and the Department of Public Safety to recognize Secure Your Load Day. Governor Stitt has declared this week, June 6th through the 12th, as Secure Your Load Week in Oklahoma. And, you know, Secure Your Load is a national campaign to remind and encourage drivers to make sure whatever they're hauling is secure in their vehicle. And that can be something as insignificant as litter in the back of the pickup that blows out as you're going down the road, probably ends up hanging on a right-of-way fence, or the department having to clean it up, or some of our great volunteer groups with the Keep Oklahoma Beautiful group having to clean up, or something as significant as a track hoe boom that's improperly secured, sometimes rides up and has an impact on our bridges where we get an inadvertent bridge hit. But we ask everybody to make sure that if you're hauling anything, that it's secure, strapped down, chained down, and certainly secured for the safety of the traveling public. Nationally, in 2019, 739 deaths and nearly 90,000 crashes were caused in the nation by road debris. In the past 3 years in Oklahoma, 17 motorists were killed in unsecured load-related crashes. Drivers can decrease the chances of being involved in road debris crash by securing loads and maintaining their vehicle and driving defensively. So, again, wanted to recognize that this morning. And Mr. Chairman, reminder, in July, because of the conflict on Monday the 4th, the regular commission meeting will be conducted on July the 11th, same time, but certainly wanted to point that out. And Mr. Chairman, at your permission, at this time, I'd like to continue our conversation about Interstate 35, and especially with a focus this morning on the conditions that we're beginning to see develop in South Oklahoma City, and some of the work that the Department of Transportation has been doing to look at some different options and to really consider those conditions. So with your permission, I'd like to invite Chief Engineer Brian Taylor to the podium to talk a little bit about the I-35 corridor.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we provided you with a handout. The handout is identical to the display on the screen. Interstate is the backbone of our economy. I-35 has state, national, and international significance as a key transportation corridor. It provides a vital connection between people, goods, services, and helps link our market to the world. Its importance cannot be over-exaggerated. Level of service is a term used to qualitatively describe the operating condition of a roadway based on factors such as speed, travel time, maneuverability, delay, and safety. Level of service in the slide is depicted by colors. Red being the worst, which is a stop-and-go condition. Green being the best, characterized by free flow. The level of service is for the AM, PM peaks on an average day. A map of I-35 is on the left of each year's level of service, with I-40 being on top, Purcell on the bottom, with key landmarks noted. 2020 is on the left, with the design year 2050 being on the right. As I-35 breaks down, travel times will increase. Spillover onto the busy street system will occur, which will decrease the safety, reliability, and function of adjacent local road systems. The biggest takeaway from this slide is status quo is not possible. As demands on I-35 continue to increase, we must continue to work toward new and better solutions. These solutions are limited as our ability to add additional lanes has diminished due to the adjacent development that has occurred. In partnership with our consultant, ACOG, City of Norman, and the City of Moore, we've been diligently working on options that optimize what we have today. Solutions that pinpoint safety, operational, and access improvements in locations where those investments can have lasting impact. The partnership will result in a master plan that will be the tool that guides and directs our path forward. These targeted improvements will help, but will not address the need for additional capacity throughout this urban section of interstate. The need for action is inescapable. I stand for questions.
Who is EST? Is that a designation for an ODOT department, or is that a third-party contractor?
Thank you, sir. That is our consultant. That's important in that this data is just not ours. It's also the consultants. It's also ACOG's, the Association of Central Oklahoma Governments, and the most recent information that we have from the City of Norman and the City of Moore. So this is shared data, and it's our most recent data that helps make up this level of service. Thank you, sir.
What does it look like at the Red River down by the Texas state line? How similar situation?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your question. Texas is dumping 8 lanes into our 4 lanes at the Texas line. They have over $2 billion worth of investment from Gainesville coming into the Red River. We do have projects in the 8-year plan that addresses additional lanes. Those additional lanes as far north as mile marker 7. We're not done. We need to get those to Ardmore. We also need to work from the South Canadian South. I-35 at the Red River is operating at a level of service D over the weekend today. Level of service D would be the orange on the graph. And that is totally unacceptable for a rural interstate. Also, when you start talking about the surrounding area, I-44, a additional river crossing that connects I-44 to I-35 is an absolute necessity. We have been in conversations with the Turnpike concerning that.
What's being done to sell this to the public so you get public support on this?
So here, I'm today to present this information, and when you look at it, you look at the problem that it creates, and we've identified it, and we've started working with our team, City of Moore, City of Norman, and we've done some public outreach, and we will be wrapping up with public outreach sometime this year or early next year, the completion of our study that identifies a master plan going forward. And it's important that I say master plan because we don't have the resources to make big swings. We need a master plan so we can puzzle piece this together. A good example of that would be it's taken us right at 35 years to build from the Oklahoma River or Interstate 40 down to the 9 West today. So master plans are extremely important, but certainly want to get this information in front of the folks and provide them with certainly rationale for the need for other options going forward.
When do you expect to have the master plan complete?
We've been working on the plan for this corridor now for a little over 2 years. We should be complete within the next year.
Mr. Taylor, as you know, my background's engineering, and you give me data, and unfortunately, I'm gonna ask for more data, right? That's just the way.
Absolutely.
We operate. So, I don't really wanna make it a request, I just say it'd be nice if we had a little bit bigger snapshot of this. The reason why is because there's something unique happening around I-240 and
Absolutely.
I-35, and then I'm not quite clear on Highway 9 East and Highway 9 West, and it'd be interesting to see a little bit bigger picture of that. I think it would give us a little bit more insight if we could see the same type of a heat map going across 240 as well as both sides of Highway 9. And then obviously I-40, we'd want to see that, because what would be nice is if we could deduce something out of this. Is this through traffic going to Tulsa? Is this traffic going from Goldsby to Oklahoma City? It'd be, if we could deduce a little bit more, I think it'd be helpful for some of us. So I'm not gonna make a request, I'm just saying it'd be nice if we had that, so.
Thank you, sir. The information we have is much more granular than we presented today. And that is possible, and that is the way we're looking at it. As you get around the interchanges, there's interactions that take place where your level of service may change every 500 feet. But thank you for the question. Yes, sir.
I-35, 6-lane from downtown to the river south of Norman. Is it all 6-lane already, or some of it 4-lane?
There's a 2-lane connection from I-35 south at Interstate 40, and then there's a 2-lane connection, 2-3. I believe we have 3 lanes south all the way to close to the South Canadian River. We do not have the ability to add a 4th additional lane because of the development. We simply don't have the resources to expand our footprint. But the improvements that take place would be auxiliary lanes, it would be additional points of access, and certainly areas where we can improve safety.
Thank you.
Brian, this changes substantially when the 2 turnpikes in Norman that are under dispute right now, when those are finished, that alleviates some of this pressure, doesn't it?
Sir, thank you for the question. This, more than any other piece of information I've seen, makes a very strong case for the turnpike. We recognize that, and we've been visiting and collaborating with the turnpike.
This graph shows without that, doesn't it?
This is without the turnpike. Obviously, the turnpike would add the capacity that we're lacking at this location. This reveals the need for a reliever route more than any other single piece of information I've seen.
Can you give an estimated time when that Indian Hills going to Kickapoo and from Kickapoo down to Johnson Road, what's the anticipated, I know it's in a dispute right now, but the anticipated completion of that, is that in the next 5 years, or is that a 10-year project?
I can't answer that question, but we are working with the turnpike where we connect, and Indian Hills and I-35 is one of those areas.
Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And, you know, one of the things that that we talk a lot about that is not just common to the Interstate 35 corridor, Commissioner Grimsley, Highway 69, certainly 75, as it goes north out of Texas. The highly traveled routes on our southern border are not going to experience any lower traffic volumes between now and 2050. You see the projection there on what we believe is going to happen, and regardless of how far you drill into that data, there's a significant amount of traffic that originates both from the south and from the northeast that travels into Oklahoma. A lot of it is not destination for Oklahoma, but traveling through. Those volumes are going to continue to grow. And it's going to take, for Oklahoma's future, an all-of-the-above approach for us to be able to manage traffic. And all of the above means we've got to continue to invest in all of those routes. We've got to continue to be forward-thinking and manage traffic for the future, especially in our major metropolitan areas. And also, we've got to look at options like transit. We've got to look at options like commuter rail. We've got to look at options like expanded Amtrak service. All of those factors are important for Oklahoma's future, and all of those things are things that we need to have in the front of our minds all the time. The Department of Transportation is not entirely resourced to be able to manage this going forward, and certainly needs the help of the Turnpike Authority to look at key investment areas and opportunities for us to do some things for our future. So, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, appreciate the opportunity to visit a little bit further about that and ask the Chief Engineer to talk to you. But I'd stand for any questions you might have of me.
I do have a question. I think it has to do with, and we'll have opportunities to talk about this in the future, more of the allocation, because if you look at 69, 69 is just as important to Tulsa and Dallas as it is to any community in my district, but my district, pays for it. We don't have the population, we don't have the things that factor in the allocation, so I think we're gonna have to probably rethink some of these major freight corridors, how we maintain them, because it is. I pull out on 43 almost daily, and it's getting harder and harder to just turn against traffic on 69. But if you look at it, it's Chicago to Houston. It utilizes Highway 69, that corridor too. And so I think long-term, we're going to have to think a little bit more strategically how we sustain that and maintain it, I think. And I don't have a good solution. I'm just saying, this is something we're going to have to put some more thought into, I believe, so.
I couldn't agree more, Commissioner.
Any other discussion? Do I have a motion for approval?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
For adjournment, excuse me.
Move we adjourn the Forge.
Do I have a second?
Peterson, second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes?
Mr. Frymiller.
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. McCowen.
McCown, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
Yeah, the Forge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
We are officially adjourned.